Again, if you're just starting off with a lizard that you haven't handled yet, this is what you want to do. You don't want to touch them right away. You want to just keep your hand close to them, let them smell you, figure you out. That's really all you're going to be doing for the first few days. If you rush things, he's not going to trust you. He's going to learn that when your hand comes in that enclosure, he needs to run to the other side of the enclosure. You don't want that. Now when you first start, you're going to put your hand here. He's going to be huffing and puffing, tail whipping. Don't let it steer you away. As long as he's not biting you, which I highly doubt he's going to do, keep your hand there. Once he stops huffing and puffing, move your hand. Give him some time. He did a good job. Okay? Slow process. Eventually you'll be able to touch him as much as you want to. And the best way you're going to figure things out is just by trying stuff and seeing what he lets you do or what he tolerates. I never would have known that he tolerates this, just rubbing the bottom jaw. Sometimes he'll go right to sleep from me doing this. I'm not applying force, it's just really gentle. If I ever do like that, I'll treat my finger like a pillow, go right to sleep. Okay? Wake up. Ira, wake up. If the lizard is shedding, try your best not to help. I know it's really tempting unless you have to, like unless it's stuck around the toenails, something like that. I'm not sure if I went over shedding at all, but as babies, they're gonna shed pretty much every few days. It seems bizarre, like they're always in shed. Because they're growing so fast, they're gonna be shedding a lot, so you need to keep the humidity pretty high. Do not grab the tail forcefully. Don't do anything stupid. Don't throw your reptile, please. Don't be abusive. These are live animals, so let's treat them like they're live animals, and hopefully if you're not going to be able to take care of one, just avoid getting one, okay? As far as sexing them, physically you can tell the males from the females. The males get much larger. I think they get around 4, maybe sometimes 4.5 feet. The females may max out around 3.5 feet. Females do not have these jowls down here, if you can see. Let me see if I can, sorry buddy, get up real quick. There you go. You see how the bottom of his chin looks like it has fat sacs right there? If you look at an adult Tegu, male Tegu, you'll see it. It's as clear as day. You can see those little tiny dots right there. I believe those are indicators that he is a male as well. I'm sorry. Go ahead. One bad thing about these Tegus, not bad, but I guess bad for owners who love to interact with them, is that they hibernate. Sometimes they hibernate for up to 7 months out of the year. So keep that in mind before you get one. Sometimes it's 4 months, sometimes it's 5 months. It probably could be less than that, but it could be up to 7 months. So remember that before you get one. It's generally in the colder months. The months coming up, actually, November, December. These are not as active. They're underground more often. They won't eat as much. During that time, you can keep the light cut off most of the time. But honestly, when he hibernates, I'm going to keep the, really? Climbing up the screen? I'm going to keep the light on at least, 5 hours a day, just in case he wants to come up and get some heat. You want to keep fresh water in the enclosure anyway. You just don't have to keep the light on for 10 to 12 hours like any other normal day. And you want to make sure you watch for when he's about to hibernate, because you don't want to be feeding him too much before he's about to hibernate. Otherwise, the food could stay in his stomach and rot, which could cause serious problems for your Tegu. I think that wraps it up. I'll try to summarize. So as far as housing, you're going to need something pretty big eventually, possibly around 6 feet long by 3 feet wide by 3 feet deep. This is where he sleeps, in my sock drawer, by the way. Some people say you can cheat a little bit on the height. You could probably go 2 feet tall, but again, it's up to you. It's up to your situation. It's up to your spacing requirements or spacing allowances. I don't know if you're going to be letting them out all the time, so you can gauge that based off of what else you're going to be doing with your reptile. You're going to have a water bowl, a food bowl, the correct substrate, which is something like cypress mulch or eco earth, something that the Tegu can bury itself in. It wouldn't hurt to put some kind of rock inside so that the Tegu can rub up against and shed properly. You're going to need hides, maybe 1 or 2 hides, and you're going to need to keep that substrate relatively moist, 60 to 80% humidity. And you're going to need a hot spot, which is accomplished through using a light and or under tank heater. You can get a mercury vapor bulb like the Power Sun, or you can get a regular incandescent bulb and a fluorescent strip. So again, make sure you have the proper lighting. A lot of people don't look into the lighting, so make sure you have the proper lighting. As far as feeding, you can feed these guys a lot of food items. Pinky mice, fuzzy mice, you can feed them crickets, grasshoppers, waxworms, mealworms, butterworms, superworms, silkworms, hornworms. Waxworms, obviously you don't want to feed that much. Them ground beef, pretty much any kind of organ meat. Boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, you can feed them raw eggs in moderation. Bananas, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. His favorite fruit seems to be green grapes. As far as handling, patience is the key. You want to take it slow, especially with younger tegus. They're going to be a little bit more skittish because they're not as confident that they could either defend themselves or get away from you. You're more of a threat to them when they're smaller. Okay, think about it. When you first start out, if you're first starting out, just inch your hand closer and closer. They're very aware of their surroundings, okay? He's gonna notice what you're doing. You're gonna be doing things like this before you actually touch him. Gradually, you're gonna just go like that. And that'll be it for that day, okay? Don't rush things. Next day, you're gonna try this whole thing again. You're gonna try to pet him again. Slowly petting him more and more until the point where you can grab him and pick him up and keep him in your hand. And don't hold him too high off the ground because some of these guys like to bolt and jump off of your hands. Yep. Never grab the tail, never forcefully grab the lizard. Don't manhandle it, okay? Unless you absolutely have to, and I can't think of too many cases where you would. As far as sexing them, you want to look for jowls under the chin. And then under, by where the vent was, you want to look for those pores that line across the hind legs. If I forgot anything, I know there are some people who watch my videos who are very knowledgeable. Please feel free to add it in. You know, this was never supposed to be a 100% comprehensive care video. I know some of you know a lot about Tegu, so feel free to chime in and leave a comment. And these guys can live for 10 plus years, so just think about that before you decide to get one. Just think about it in its adult size, possibly 4.5 feet. Okay? Think about how big the enclosure is going to need to be. Think about how much you're going to have to feed it. Think about how dangerous it'll be if it gets that big by some stroke of luck if you're not treating it properly. Okay, these things are like pit bulls, and I say that because pit bulls have the worst reputation, yet they are like the most loving dogs I've ever met in my life. It's just that when people don't treat them right, they don't grow up right. And yet, the same goes for humans, same goes for pretty much any animal. You don't treat something right, it's not going to grow up right. These are not monitor lizards, but they are associated with monitor lizards. People think they're monitors all the time. They act very similar to monitors, and I think the monitor family is like the pit bull of the reptile world when you're talking about lizards. They get stereotyped a lot. People think they have jaws that lock and you can never open them up if they bite something. People think that they're out for blood. They're going to try to eat everything that they can. You can't train them. You can't tame them. This and that. There's so much hoopla about them. If you watch some of these videos on YouTube, I think it's Big Boy something. He has a huge monitor. And he has other monitors that come when their names are called. Okay, so just look around and you tell me if you think these guys can be trained at all. You know, just don't believe the hype, is all I'm going to say. Find out for yourself before you stereotype. And that'll be it for my care guide, guys. If I have anything else that I forgot, I'll write it in the comments or I'll write it in the description. Again, please add anything you like in the comments. Let me know. Thanks.